You're listening to Snippets from the Summit with your host, Scott McKay.
How's it going, gentlemen? This is Scott McKay from X and Y Communications coming at you again with another Snippet from the Summit as part of the Mountaintop Podcast. Today, I'm going to talk to you about yet another topic that you don't hear talked about or covered much anywhere else. In this case, probably because, well, it's not the most pleasant topic to talk about. It's also not a topic most men want to admit needs to be discussed. But I'll tell you what, ask any NBA point guard, ask any NFL quarterback, ask anyone who drives a car, races a motorcycle, does any kind of motorsports at all, indeed, anybody who's an athlete at a high level, and they will agree with everything I'm about to tell you. And that's this. Let's just drop it right from the start. Champions forgive themselves for mistakes that take place on the field. Yes, you do indeed win a race by coming in first place, and you do also indeed earn a championship by winning. And just like we're talking about in this week's Masterclass for Men, you were born to win and your mindset is everything. But an important component of that mindset is what to do when you screw up. If you've noticed, the great champions at almost any game, in almost any sport, including business and, yes, success with women, have already figured out and already personalized at a deep level that they've got to get back up, they've got to brush themselves off, and they've got to forget about a mistake that just happened. If you've ever watched the TV show Ted Lasso on Apple TV, one of the great lines is when he tells one of his players to be a goldfish, because goldfish have a memory of under 10 seconds, right? So that means on the soccer field, if you don't get the save, if you don't make the easy goal when it's right there in front of you, if you miss that penalty shot, you got to continue on. You got to forget that happened. You got to go right to the next play. If you're a point guard and you miss that assist, you got to bring the ball up the court next time as if you didn't miss a beat, and you're going to go right back into being a champion. Every time an NFL quarterback throws an interception, they have to come back the next series ready to throw a touchdown pass. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the great champions often do. Gentlemen, too many of us are moping around because the last woman didn't treat us the way we wanted to be treated in that relationship, or we're even feeling defeated because the last woman we even attempted to talk to didn't treat us the way we liked, or didn't respond the way we wanted her to. Guys, you have to have the mindset that, hey, you know what? Not every shot is going to be a slam dunk. You go back out there, you talk to a new woman, you go on a date with another new woman. Every interaction with a new woman is exactly that. It's brand new. History does not have to repeat itself. And if you're beating yourself up because you said the wrong thing, or you feel as if you came across a little bit creepy, erase it, wipe it off, go right back to the next interaction. And you know what? Chances are it's going to go well. And how do I know this? Because I'm raising my right hand. The process of getting better with women was very much trial and error for me too. Even nowadays, when I take guys out in field, not every interaction I attempt with a woman goes perfectly, but it's few and far between enough that I can laugh it off, and it doesn't even begin to affect my self-esteem or my confidence anymore. It's just on to the next woman, and we'll see how it goes. And almost 100% of the time, it goes better the next time. And I'll tell you what, when guys are out with me in field, they actually sort of enjoy watching me mess up sometimes. Not out of spite or some sense of schadenfreude. They just feel a lot more at ease, perhaps oddly and ironically even, a little bit more set up for success, because they know if I'm not perfect and my expectation isn't as such, then by all means, their expectations for themselves shouldn't be absolute perfection or bust either. Everybody gets something wrong sometimes. None of us are perfect. And yes, that even applies to our relationships with women. Now, if you're in a long-term relationship with a woman, you've been dating for a while, and you mess up, that's when it's time to man up and say, I'm sorry, I'm going to do better. Not because you're a simp, not because you're weak, but because you're strong, because you expect to do better. And again, this isn't about kowtowing to a woman who's pushing you around or demanding more when you don't have anything more to give. Rather, this is when you know you've done wrong and that apology is indeed warranted. Gentlemen, real men are born to win. Yes, you should point towards victory. You should do your best. You should swing for the fence. But this is life. Not every team is the champion every year. Not every player is the MVP every year. No driver has won every race he's ever entered. And whether you're on the job, whether you're on the rec softball team, or you're dating and relating to women, perfection isn't expected of you either. I'll close with this, which serves as sort of icing on the cake. By the time I met my wife, I have to admit, I was pretty much on top of my game with women. I could go on first dates on autopilot, fully expecting everything to go well. Well, as you can probably guess by now, 19 years later, hey, those first few dates with Emily went incredibly well. And I was a perfect gentleman. I said all the right things. I did all the right things. And inevitably, about 2.5 weeks in, I screwed up. I don't remember specifically if I lost my temper a little bit, lost my cool, or clean forgot something I was supposed to remember. But I recall thinking to myself, good grief, now I've blown it. What is she going to think of me? And the answer came swiftly and honestly from Emily. It was the cutest thing ever. She goes, I'm so glad you just messed up, because now I feel like the pressure's off and I can feel free to screw up any way I want to now. And hey, that's a very good thing. Indeed, it may not have felt like a good thing when I was in the act of screwing up, but ultimately it was wonderful to be able to relax into that relationship with Emily as two humans going forward together without any warped expectation of perfection, even and especially the self-imposed variety. Gentlemen, get out there, relax, enjoy women, allow yourself to screw up, and when it does happen, dare to even be a little self-deprecating in the moment and acknowledge it rather than hiding in your shell. And just see what happens. You may find that women are more comfortable with you and respond even more powerfully to you after you screw up. As long as it's a relatively minor screw up, of course. Want to talk about this or anything else? Scott at mountaintoppodcast.com. Be good out there.
As always, visit mountaintoppodcast.com for more.